Welcome back, everybody. Chris Jameson here, co-founder SF Lending, your hard money lender for life. And welcome to Hard Money 206, Loan Underwriting. At this stage in the process, the file has been submitted from processing to underwriting for a more thorough review. At this point, the lender will have received a final title commitment. This one's final. Everything should be correct. So they're going to make sure that the property is insurable against any kind of defects. If there are defects, what are the exceptions? They're going to get clear title, Schedule C, look for any kind of liens or judgments against the borrowers of the property, the buyers or the sellers. They're going to also make sure there's a clean chain of title. So if there is a double closed transaction, has the deed been vested from the first half of the transaction to the second half of the transaction? Without proper vesting, there's no clear chain of title for property ownership. Again, they're going to take a look at the survey with setback lines, boundaries, easements. What they want to be able to do is make sure the title can ensure if there is an easement. Oftentimes it's like a shed or something like that that's past a setback line, or in some situations recently we came up with where a seller had owned two properties side by side, and they had taken the yard, the side yard from one property and given it to the other. The borrower was buying the property where the land was taken from, and by doing a survey prior to buying, they figured out that they actually owned half of that land between the properties. So they can take that back, build a fence, and have a bigger yard, which ended up being a huge deal for them selling the property. They're also going to review the appraisal. Is it a good deal? Did the numbers come out where you thought they were going to be? Are the expectations the same? They'll be able to give you a loan proposal where all of the details of the lender fees, transaction costs, and everything out of pocket can come together, and you understand exactly where you are prior to going into the closing table. Once you get that signed loan proposal back to your lender, they're going to start preparing the HUD-1 closing disclosure or any other kind of settlement statement. The settlement statement itemizes all of the costs associated with the transaction. That's debits and credits. That's the sales price, the purchase. That's the sales price, the rehab escrow, lender costs, title costs, any kind of credits like earnest money or deposit that had already been put down, things like that. The lender will then prepare the loan documents. The loan documents are going to consist of closing instructions, promissory note, the deed of trust, homestead affidavit. Hard money lenders do non-owner occupied commercial property, technically commercial loans. They are not for homesteads, so most lenders will have you sign a homestead affidavit so you claim where your homestead is and it's separate than the property that you're buying. Also, there's an affidavit of commercial purposes, assignments of rents and leases, and lastly, the repair draw agreement. If you have questions with the loan documents, this would be the perfect time to ask your lender to better explain what each of these forms means. That concludes Hard Money 206, Loan Underwriting. Once again, Chris Jameson here, SF Lending, your hard money lender for life.